Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so we're back again with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be war number 9. And before we start the war, I have a bit of a funny story to tell. You see, before I did my one of my previous rank 4s, not the very last one, but one before that, I was basically discussing it with my officer. And we were kind of going over the champions that would benefit the Alliance the most. And basically, we kind of ended up in deciding in between Mr. Fantastic or CGR, keeping in mind the upcoming Alliance War season as well as the current season. And the idea was that Mr. Fantastic and CGR both will be defenders for the new defense tactic, so we're going to want to have rank 4s of them on defense, and then on top of that, either one of those champions I rank up for this current war season, I will be able to use offensively, because Mr. Fantastic is a great Alliance War champion, and so obviously CGR. Then I, in my cheeky brain, decided that I better go with Mr. Fantastic. Why? Because Mr. Fantastic does not require me to spec different mastery setup every time I want to use him on offense in Alliance War, and he doesn't necessarily require help of class power boost. So I'm thinking I'm going to be economical. I'm going to rank up Mr. Fantastic. They're going to assign me Mr. Fantastic and not assign me a CGR. That means I'm going to be able to save on some loyalty. That means I'm going to be, able to save some units because I don't need to change the mastery setups for him. Seemed like the obvious choice. And obviously I do like both of these champions, CGI and Mr. Fantastic. And since that rank up for both Alliance Wars since then, I have been bringing back CGR, changing my mastery setups, class boosting with a rank 3. It could have been a rank 4. You just could have. And it's one of those karmic things. Like, he could have just said rank 4 CGR. No. Anyways, so CGR, Nimrod, and Magneto House of X walk into the bar. XK-9 is sitting in the bar counter, and XK-9 is a very strong alliance. I do believe they beat us last season and as well finished in top 3 last season. So we knew our work is going to be cut out for us. So I did start my first fights very early, and by the time I woke up, they actually had cleared the entire map. And we hadn't. So the war at that point was ours to win or lose, because they had died a very few times, but we had died less. And the entire point was that the entire alliance obviously immediately feels the pressure, because you know exactly where that mark is. So they had died 5 times and cleared the entire map. When I woke up, we had cleared 100 fights and we had died 3 times. So there was very, very little room for error. So aside from these first fights, the last ones are already kind of like conducted under quite a bit of stress in this case. So definitely well played to XK-9 and putting the war kind of like in our hands in a sense. So with CGR and Nimrod, I'm going to be going into Path 9 in Section 1 and Path 6 in Section 2, as well as dealing with that Havoc, kind of like a mini boss fight over there. So, first things first, here, I'm putting on my boosts, change my mastery setups. The one saving grace here, obviously, is the fact that in Battlegrounds, now we are able to save the mastery setup. So, that kind of helps me, because now I can keep Liquid Courage Double Edge on for that day's break in Alliance War and maybe get in a bit of a arena grind, and it doesn't interfere with my Battlegrounds play. So obviously against Void here, the strategy is basically parry heavy, finish combo with light, and then go in for the kill. Now unfortunately he was here a little bit passive, so that's actually going to end up costing me some health, because here I already started getting poisons on me. He placed his debuff and my health was rapidly declining, but I still got my level 2 off, back to 3 bars of power, job's done. The mastery setup for these fights pretty much always exclusively has to be the double edge, no liquid courage, and obviously the recoil and everything else. Because if you start with the poison debuff on yourself, you're gonna lose so much health so fast. So because that Void took that moment, I ended up taking several ticks of Void's damage, and that immediately was like a potion wasted there, which kind of pissed me off a bit, to be honest. But let's move on. Craven here again is kind of like a annoying placement, and this fight as well isn't gonna go kind of perfect because he's gonna get to his level 1 too quickly. So here I parry heavy and I finish combo with light, and he immediately throws his level 1, which kind of ruins everything because now I don't have enough time to finish a full combo with medium and go into my level 2, and I need to wait this entire thing out. Also keep in mind he threw his level 1, so I cannot possibly walk into his trap. Now Craven is even more dangerous as a placement here if I do not have Magneto House of X pre-fight, because that pre-fight, without that pre-fight, he would be making my parry stance basically non-existent, and that would be even tougher. But as soon as I do wait out that poison phase here, back to incinerate phase, finish combo with the medium, level 2, level 3, jabs done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. CGR at rank 3 is still an absolute monster, obviously. Now we're going to be going up against the Havoc, and against Havoc, when you use Nimrod, there's always one aspect of danger. You always need to make sure that you do have an armor up active. In fights like this, where you can always parry, it's not an issue most of the time, but you can still kind of fall into that trap. In fights where Havoc can go unblockable, or there might be some issue in parrying, it can be a major problem. Here, obviously, I waited out the first incinerate phase, then I just go in, start shocking him, and the reason for it is, especially with this Schadenfreude node, is because one detonation or two detonations can pretty much kill me. If I run out of armor ups at any point and he gets a detonation on me, which he will, because I'm doing energy damage and inflicting shocks, so his feedback debuffs are kind of like going crazy. It's a bit dangerous with Nimrod compared to techs that have permanent armor up, but as we can see here, one level 2 and the job's done. Again, just wait out the phases and one level 2 job's done. Now at this point, this is already the next morning now, and this is when I know the score. At this point, I believe the score is still 3-5. So again, absolutely no room for error for us. We still had a lot of fights to do. Luckily, I only have 2, and both of those fights I'm quite confident. Truth be told, this Annihilus actually looks really scary, and I'm gonna have like a bit of butchered start here as well. Because this Annihilus has significantly increased special attack damage, he has prowess, so, if you nullify buffs on the defender here, then they gain extra power. The problem is, armor breaks get rid of Annihilus's Cosmic Rod, and game recently, I believe, has started basically counting armor breaks as nullify for certain nodes. So, if he gets to level 2 because of it, I might be in a bit of a danger, and then we're gonna see that I actually scuff my start here as well. So I did think that I might get clipped a bit. I didn't feel enough of a danger to use another indestructible 3 boost, especially because that's the one that I'm kind of falling low on, and it is CGR. We're gonna see here I go for first parry, and it just didn't go super great here. But at this point, when I do have Magneto House of X pre-fight, I can safely parry Annihilus at any given point, and here I go. And this was also quite strange. If we rewind here, so I go, let's see what happens here. So we had, so I at this point have the Damnation active, and it wasn't until much later that I realized that CGR is a metal character and he isn't affected by that damnation, which is why at this point, as we can see, he still gains power from my level 2. So that the fact that he got to a level 2 kind of caught me off by surprise and got me scared, because had he thrown it immediately, it would be a ton of block damage. But obviously, because of Cosmic Power Boost, as soon as I dropped my level 2, Annihilus went bye-bye. Level 2, level 3. That's what you do with CGR. Level 2, level 3, and the job's done. And now, the final fight, and it's against APOC using Nimrod, so there's nothing too much to kind of stress about. Hard knock life, but with Nimrod, your block damage is going to be increased, but your parries still ought not fail, because it's Nimrod. His build accuracy cannot be reduced against mutants, so you only kind of get to deal with like half as dangerous disorients. So you can basically parry as much as you want, and the only thing that changes is slightly more block damage. But thanks to all those armors, you still don't end up taking much block damage at all. So it's all kind of chill. And at this point, I just kind of want to get to my 10 charges, get to my level 2, which I do here. Sweet. And now I drop my level 2, and I don't think this is going to quite kill him. It probably would if I had activated Liquid Courage for this fight, but you know, I didn't need it. And yeah, one level 2 basically, and Apocalypse is melted. Nimrod is just so mean against mutant champions. And the current situation in war, the war actually hasn't ended and hasn't been fully decided. But the situation is as follows. We have 4 fights left, and we're ahead by 1 death. Now, the reason why I'm feeling fairly safe, obviously anything can happen and we can still lose this war, but we are at the moment likely to get the W here because we are winning on time. So even if we die once, we would end up with 5-5 and we would still win on time. But obviously, anything can happen. I'm not trying to jinx this for us at all, and the war is still undecided yet here. So it's going to be very interesting to follow when we do these last few fights, and hopefully we take the W home here, because we lost the war against Salty, which was our war number 8, which is very annoying. We lost it by 1 death, and obviously, you know, nobody in the line is quite happy about that. And at this point, we have basically waived our chances for top 3 in the season, because we have lost 3 wars already. But hopefully, at the very least, we end up winning this one. So we go 6-3 and kind of more or less seal in that top 10 Masters finish. So that is it for this Alliance War. Hope you guys enjoyed it, as well as my little story. And if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the